Welcome back, everybody. This is day 19 of van life in New Zealand. Last night I got up to pee around 3 a.m. and I found a glass beer bottle in front of my car, and I was wondering, am I getting trafficked? Did someone target me as a solo female traveler? I don't know. So I did a lot of research. Eventually I went back to bed, woke up in the morning and was like, okay, I'm okay. But it was kind of scary. So I had some breakfast and then I made my way into town. The first place that I went today was Waiotau. This is a scenic reserve. This is where they have the Lady Knox geyser. I kept wanting to call them a geyser, even though apparently they're not. I was like, I don't know. So this one erupts, but they essentially help her to erupt by giving her soap. And so I looked up what is a geyser because honestly I wasn't totally sure. And I was like, I would like to be a bit more informed before I watch this. So we waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And finally, the people came out and then they put the soap in. And ooh, here it comes. Okay, it's coming. Slowly but surely, I'm making you all wait with me because this is what it was like in reality. And finally, it started bubbling. And then it got big. And wow! Here's a photo here so you can see what it was like at its peak. To be fair, it was cool. Would I have paid just to see this? Nah. I mean, I wouldn't have, but I did get to go to this for free. The guy was like, hey, just go, go, go. He was like, you can buy your ticket later. And I was like, am I going to buy my ticket? I did. It was like $40, but I was like, you know what? I think it'll be worth it. Anyways, went back to my van, had another muffin split, I think they call them here, and then an apple because I was hungry. And then I got my little stamp of approval after I paid the 40 some bucks for admission, and in we went. It was pretty cool, I will say. Like, I was a bit hesitant because I was like, $40. I can see geothermal activity all over Rotorua. But then I was like, this is actually dope. They had these really cool features here. And I don't want to give too much away, but I think it's worth a visit. I checked on my package briefly while I was there and I saw it was with the courier. And I was like, do you know what? This is promising. These are two little babies of what I think they call pink stilts, I believe. It's a type of bird. The mama was back behind them. Really cute though. Super cool to see them. They live on these acidic plains, on these acidic lakes essentially, and they're not too worried about the acidity in the water, which is interesting. This is a green lake here. It's obviously very, very green because of how much algae has grown in it, actually. Here's a photo of me with the green lake. It was super cool to see. Like, once again, I will say, this was a nice place to visit. The wildlife there was really cool. I hadn't seen these birds. Pink stilt walkers, I think that's what they're called. But I hadn't seen these types of birds before. I hadn't seen this type of geography before. So, like, it was worth a visit, I would say for sure. You walked across some pretty dodgy areas where there's, like, water boiling right next to you. So, I will say you need to be cautious. And then I decided I was going to go to this place called Te Patu tonight. I'd heard it was amazing, super worth it. It was $300, but I was like, let's see how it goes. Here's one of the coolest parts. Here you can see all the red from the side from iron. This here is a little area. Birds nest in these holes actually because the warmth helps their eggs to incubate, which is really cool. Like I said, this is a really cool area to check out. So I ran back to my car. I had a little snack, a wrap, and then I uploaded my photos because I had no more storage on my phone. Shocking. And then I had a couple of cookies because I was still hungry. I was starving today. And then I went over to these mud pools. And I will say these were dope as well. These are free, so you don't have to get a ticket to see these. These were super cool. These are at the same place, so the Waiotau Reserve. But the difference, like I said, is that these are free. You can see all the bubble, all the mud boiling up. Like, this was pretty cool to see. It was also really warm, which was kind of welcome because it was raining, so I didn't mind that. And speaking of the rain, here it is. It was pouring rain as I drove back to Rotorua. So, vroom, 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 and I went to get that chip that you saw in the last photo repaired at Smith & Smith, and I worked a little bit. Didn't have that much time, though. They repaired these two stone chips in my windscreen and they looked great. And I said, cool, off to that park that I was referring earlier. So this is the park in Rotorua that's free. It's a geothermal park. And they have this little area where you can dip your toes in with everybody else. They do say to keep your head above water to eliminate the risk of a type of pneumonia. So, anemic pneumonia. So, that's something to keep in mind. I went back, watched some positive content, and then I went to the hot pool to drop off my car. And then I made my way to Te Patu. Here I am on the way. Here's the entrance. Like I said, Te Patu is $300. It's a cultural experience and it also includes dinner. The food is supposed to be amazing. My personal experience here was that it is not worth the money. However, I did have, I think, quite a negative experience just because of some of the ways that the performers were engaging with each other. I don't want to get too into detail. I do believe that it could be a cool experience, but my personal experience was that it's not worth the money. So do with that what you will. I did reach out to Teipatu and they did give me a 50% refund. So keep it in mind. But I think there are other cultural experiences in Rotorua that are more worth it. This was day 19. Good night.